Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup look using all e.l.f. products. I'm cat sitting at the moment, so I'm actually at my sister's house. This is not my house. And I figure I would take advantage of her living room space and the lighting in here because it's actually really nice. So I got my little e.l.f. box here. It says e.l.f. Confidence. It's actually a really cute box. It's bright orange. Inside, I do have all my e.l.f. products. So I had already moisturized my skin, hence the dewy glowiness that I have going on at the moment. But I did want to go ahead and use this product right here. This is the e.l.f. Matte Oil Control Lotion. It has kaolin. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but I'll put it maybe right here. Kaolin clay and tea tree. And this is meant to keep you matte but also moisturized. I am just gonna be using it on the shiny parts of my face. And yes, my face is so sensitive that as soon as I touch it, it turns bright red. So that might not be cute to look at, but don't mind it. This lotion, I actually like it. I feel like it does a good job at moisturizing me, and then as soon as I put it on, I feel like it absorbs really well. So it does kind of mattify me a little bit, but I don't necessarily think that it does a great job at mattifying my face for the rest of the day. So because of that, I am still gonna be using my Essence primer. I know this is not e.l.f., but this and like maybe one other thing are gonna be the only things that I use that are not e.l.f. So sorry. For the rest of my face, I am going to be priming with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I don't dislike it, I just don't feel like it's as wonderful as everybody claims that it is, but that's just my opinion. I didn't actually end up getting any eyeshadow for the e.l.f. look, but I am going to be priming my lids anyway because I have a lot of discoloration on my eyelids and I want to make sure that they look nice and clean because I will be rocking some lashes. For that, I'm going to be using the 16 Hour Wear Camo Concealer, and this one is in the shade Light Sand. I haven't tried this shade, but I've tried other shades before, and I really actually like this concealer. And then I will be using my e.l.f. sponge. I love this sponge. I use it every single day, but I picked up another one because it was only $2 because of their sale. I know I look crazy at the moment. I've been doing this new thing where I put the e.l.f. Camo Concealer on the sides of my nose because I get a lot of separation in this area at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what kind of primer I use or what kind of foundation I use, I always end up slipping and sliding in this area right there. So to kind of help with that, I've been putting a little bit of the Camo Concealer because it does dry really, really matte. So it kind of helps create a barrier between my natural oils and my makeup. So yeah, that's why it looks kind of funny. But moving on, I'm gonna be setting my eyelids with the e.l.f. matte setting powder. This is in the shade Light, I believe. Yeah, it's in the shade Light. So this one does have a tint of yellow in it, so it is really good for brightening the dark areas on my face. This is what it looks like. It kind of looks like the putty primer a little bit, but it's thicker. And what I actually do like about this powder is that it has a sifter in it, but then it also has like a little cover. So you actually have to twist it in order to show the little holes in the powder. And then when you're done with it, you can just cover up the holes so it doesn't create a big mess in your makeup bag. And then on the cap it does say pour powder here, so it's kind of already giving you instructions on how to use it. Okay, so I went ahead and set my eyelids, and I also did a wing. I actually didn't use the e.l.f. liner. I've used that liner in the past, that one right here, and even though it's okay, it does the job and everything, I don't feel like it lasts as long as this one does. This one's my go-to liquid liner from Essence. So moving on to my face, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I chose the color Natural. I think that it is a pretty good match for me, but it's not 100% perfect because I'm not very good at matching myself to foundations. I have been using this one out and I actually really, really like it. I don't feel like it's like super matte, but it's also not like super satiny or like glowy, but I feel like it does a good job with coverage. I also really like the scent on this foundation. It smells kind of perfumey, and usually I wouldn't like a perfumey foundation, but the smell on this foundation is lovely. Like, I actually really, really like it. I can't believe I used the word lovely. I've never used that word before. That's kind of like the only description that I can use for this smell. Like, I want perfume that smells like this. Is that weird? Since I am doing a makeup look that lasts all day, I am using more than one pump. This is how much coverage I got from one pump. I'm using a little bit more on this side, and then I'll figure out if I want to put an extra layer of foundation. But I will say that the consistency of this foundation is really nice because it's not like super thick, but it's also not runny. So this is what my face looks like with one layer of foundation. As you can already tell, you can kind of still see some redness in this area here. I'm gonna put concealer in there anyway, so I don't usually tend to layer it. But for this purpose today, I will be layering it a little bit, putting small dots in the area right here, basically just in the center of my face, and blending it out. Before I forget, like I usually do, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. So I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and this one's in the shade Deep Brown. I have already been using this, and I actually really like it because it has a really teeny tiny point in it. I feel like it's a little bit easier to use. It's super tiny. And I just like to fill in the gaps of my brows and kind of reshape them a little bit. I don't go super crazy because I don't really feel like I need to. And also I don't really like that boxy look for my brows. I like how I say I don't like that boxy look and then my brow ends up looking like a box. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer now. And like I mentioned, I'm going to be using the 16 Hour Wear concealer. I did use a little bit of my LA Girl concealer because I do like to kind of color correct with it. So that's why my under eyes already kind of look like they have concealer on them. But I am going to be testing this shade out. And I noticed a difference when applying this shade versus when I apply the other e.l.f. concealer that I already own. And I feel like this shade is a little bit creamier than the lighter shade that I have. I don't know why. I don't know if there's like a consistency issue with the different shades, but I have heard from other people too that the lighter shades in this concealer tend to be a little bit more drying than their darker shades, which is kind of weird because you would think that they all have the same formula. I'm gonna be adding a little bit on my T-zone as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with the same mattifying setting powder, and I'm gonna be using my little e.l.f. concealer brush. I don't normally bake anywhere on my face, but for today's purpose, I will be baking just on my forehead and around my nose. Like I said, I need to make sure this makeup will last me until past midnight. Moving on to the next thing, I'm going to be using this little duo. It's a bronzer and blush. Little tiny thing, it says it's called Fiji. I'm going to go ahead and bronze my face and blush it up. And I'm still going to be using some e.l.f. brushes because I actually own quite a bit of e.l.f. brushes. This is the Ultimate Blending Brush. I usually use this for liquid foundation, but today I'm just going to use it for my bronzer. And I kind of wanted to use this one because I've used this bronzer in the past and it's a little bit too dark for what I'm used to. I wanted to use a tool that will help me buff this in. I'm not swiping because since it is such a dense brush, I don't want to disrupt the work that I have already done on my foundation. I feel like on camera it looks like I'm putting on blush, but I promise it's not blush, it's the bronzer. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my little e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush and just fluff out the bronzer that I did on my nose. The bronzer, to be honest, is a little intense for me, especially on camera. It looks kind of crazy. On person, it doesn't look as intense as it does on this video. Because my nose contour looks a little too intense, I'm just gonna go back in with my sponge that I used on my face and just kind of tone it down with the product that's already on the sponge. I'm not adding more product, I'm just blending it out with this, and that looks a lot better. Just gonna leave it like that, and then I'm just gonna be taking the little bronzer color and putting a little bit of it in my crease just to create some sort of shadow there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of blush. Okay, so I guess I'm going to be using my e.l.f. highlighting brush for blush because I forgot to bring my blush brush. I'm going to go ahead and dip into the pretty little blush color, applying a little bit because my cheeks already kind of look like they're blushed. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my face because I do like to do this before I go in with my lashes, mascara, and highlighter. I'm gonna be using my favorite setting spray, and I actually loved the setting spray the minute that I used it. It is the e.l.f. Matte Blotting Mist. It's the pink little bottle. I don't know why they don't carry this setting spray at every single store that they carry e.l.f. But I usually find mine at some Walmarts, especially the super centers. They carry more e.l.f. products. This is wonderful. It actually makes my makeup last all day, or at least until I feel like taking it off. It does a really good job at mattifying my T-zone, and it smells great. It also has that same clay as the mattifying lotion, and I think it also has tea tree. It doesn't necessarily say that it has tea tree on it, but I smell the tea tree in it, so I'm pretty sure it has it as well. I don't like getting setting spray underneath my eyes because I don't want there to be creases, so I try to cover them and do it on my forehead first. And then to do the rest of my face, I don't spray it because I want to target only specific areas. So I use my sponge and I spray it on my sponge. And I spray quite a bit. And then I do it on my nose and then the rest of my face. I'm gonna be using e.l.f. lashes, of course. And these ones are the Faux Mink lashes in Drama Queen. And they're actually really pretty and full, so I'm excited to test these out. This is what they look like out of the package. As you can see, they are very full, wispy, and beautiful. So I think they'll look perfect with this eye. While I let my lash glue dry, I don't know why I can't speak. I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyebrows, and I'm gonna be using the e.l.f. Volumizing Fiber Gel. It's a neutral brown, and I actually chose this color because I was afraid that the deep brown of the pencil was going to be too dark for my eyebrows, which it's actually not. But just in case my eyebrows ended up being too dark, I wanted a lighter shade of my brow gel. So that's how my little brows are looking like. I actually really like them. I think that it makes my eyebrows look a lot fuller and still natural at the same time, so that's always a good thing. For my highlight, I have this little guy right here. This is the Baked Highlighter and Bronzer Duo. I was trying to find just a regular highlighter on its own. I didn't want to spend $6 on a highlighter, so I ended up finding this one for $2 at Walmart. But I did end up having to scrape the top layer of the highlighter because when I first tried to put it on, like, there was nothing. Usually with drugstore products, sometimes they have like a little film buildup on top. I don't know why. So all you have to do is just scratch off the top layer and it should work fine. I'm gonna go ahead and use this little brush. This is not an e.l.f. brush, it's just a cute little brush that I own, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. I forgot to tell you that this was in Bronze Glow. Is that what it's called? If you're gonna try this product, scrape it off first, because if you try to apply it right off the packaging like that, it's not gonna show up at all. It's just gonna look like a powder mess on your face, and you do not want that. Lashes are on. I did put a little bit of mascara on. I didn't use an e.l.f. mascara because I don't have one. And since I was gonna be using lashes, I figured I might as well just not focus on a mascara. And then all I did was take off my little lip balm that I had on my lips. I'm gonna be using a liquid matte lipstick from e.l.f. It's called Modern Metals. It's a really pretty terracotta red, and it says it's a universal color, so it's supposed to complement any skin tone. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on. I don't have any e.l.f. lip liners. I don't even know if they make lip liners, actually. I don't think I've ever seen them before. But I'm just gonna go ahead and use my own lip liner. This is not important, so I'm just gonna go ahead and line them, and then I will put this on. So here is the finished look. I just put my hair down from the braids, so that's why it's a little wavy. I'm probably gonna fix my hair once I get to my house. I'm probably just gonna add more curls to it. But this is pretty much what my makeup is looking like. I actually really love it. I think everything that I used today was pretty good. The only thing that I wasn't 100% a fan of was the powder and also the bronzer and blush duo. I don't know, I feel like they look a little too dark for me personally. The lip color is honestly the most beautiful liquid lipstick I've ever used, and it's pretty long lasting. It's not 100% transfer proof. You can still kind of see it on my hand. It does feel really comfortable on the lips, especially if you only use one layer. I don't suggest you use more than one layer, but one layer is pretty opaque and it feels pretty comfortable on the lips. It's almost like it dries to a very powdery finish, which I really like in a liquid lipstick. I don't want my lipstick to be sticky. The lashes are beautiful. I think they look very pretty and wispy. They were a little bit harder to apply just because the band is a little bit thicker, but it's nothing that I couldn't play around with until I got it right. The brow pencils are great. The highlighter, like I said, you have to scrape off the top layer, but after you do that, it's really pretty and glowy. And the foundation is pretty good, so is the concealers. That is everything for this video today. I really like how my makeup turned out. I think it's very festive and appropriate for the occasion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and head out before my husband calls me again, telling me to hurry up because he wants to see me. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you test out some of these e.l.f. products for yourself. Bye. I looked at myself instead of at you, but bye.